So when I knew I was going to be on Shark Tank, and every entrepreneur that is going on the show assumes they're going to be asked certain questions. And one of those questions is, what are you going to do with the money? And for me, a big part of my business was customizing the Signal Vault, my invention, customizing it for different people and clients so they could use it as like a high-tech business card or a promotional item. But my one problem was that it took me about 3 to 4 weeks to get it in the hands of a client once they order it, which is long in the promotional item industry because you can contact pretty much any company and get regular business cards or pens in like a day that are customized with all of your business information. So, 3 to 4 weeks is a long time. And I knew if I could speed up that process, that I would generate more sales. And I started looking into how I could speed up that lead time. And the way to do that would to be a special printer, and it was called a Heidelberg press. This is like a $35,000 machine, and I would need that investment money from the Sharks to purchase it. So I knew that that was going to be part of my answer to them, at least. Obviously, like, marketing and inventory and, hiring employees, etc. But that was going to be part of the answer, to purchase a Heidelberg press. When they flew me out to LA, Culver City, to the Sony Pictures lot in Culver City, there are just buildings, these huge buildings, and these are all like sets for different shows. So in this building, they have, whatever Price is Right is being filmed over here, they're filming Shark Tank over here, they're doing something else, maybe it's a movie set, etc. And the building that we were in, all the buildings on the lot, they have a huge name, like in block letters on the side of the building at like the upper corner, so that, when you're there, you could easily find where you're supposed to go. The building that we were in, that we spent most of our time in, because for 3 days before we actually pitched to the Sharks, they had us in one of these buildings, and it was pretty much empty inside. Empty as far as like there wasn't like a true set or anything set up in there. It was just like a bunch of chairs, whiteboards, a couple of stages, and just room for us to kind of work on our pitches, to work on our set design, and to fill out paperwork, because that's what we did for the first couple of days that we were there, really. Our building, I will never forget the first time walking up to our building, and in huge block letters on the top of the building, Heidelberg. And I knew at that point that I was exactly where I was supposed to be, and everything was supposed to happen. Up until that point, I had been working. It felt like my whole life had been working up to this point. And I had never felt more confident in my life about anything, that this was going to go exactly the way that I wanted it to. And as long as I showed up and as long as I put in the effort, everything else was going to fall, like the dominoes were going to fall exactly in place. I knew it. I knew it. So call it, again, fate, call it destiny, call it the universe slapping me in the face with a sign, but I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I hope that everyone gets that feeling, because it was awesome. It was just, it couldn't have been more obvious to me. Nothing had ever been more clear to me than in that moment seeing Heidelberg on the top of that building.